How's it going, everyone? Out here at Indian Trails Golf Course, I wanted to give you a little more help with your short game and chipping and encourage you to use your imagination. Once again, golf is a unique sport to the individual, matches life in that regard, a lot of different ways to play this game, and each shot is kind of unique to the individual. As a PGA professional, I can give you some information about standards and obviously some things that we want to hold true, and my philosophy is really geared around golf being a sport like a lot of others. But I want you to use your creativity, and if you can pull something out under pressure, I take that in consideration with all of my students and clients, okay? So, I want to talk a little bit about chipping. In a basic bump and run chip, got another camera angle up here, and the front edge of the green, got a lot of green to work with, pin is on the back edge. And right now I have my sand wedge, but I wanted to hit a couple of shots with my sand wedge and a few other options just to get you thinking about different ways to hit the same type of chip shot, okay? So right here, 56-degree wedge, and I use this in a lot of different ways. You know, as we talked about before, you know, our feet should be fairly close together, slightly open. I like to have my weight a little more on the left side and my hands in front of the golf ball in my chip shots. And I believe that when we are chipping, it's a one lever system motion where the club head ends up staying below the hands, okay? That's kind of how I reference a chip shot there. So as I hit a regular chip shot with my sand wedge, I'm gonna try to land this somewhere about halfway up in relation to the distance to the hole here. So I got my weight on my left side, hands are in front, head down, landed about halfway. Not bad. Got about 3, maybe 4 feet left there, okay? Now, another way to hit a chip shot with this same club, and this is something I learned from watching Justin Rose. It's a way where you can kind of lift that club up and hood it a little bit, putting the club a little bit more on the toe of the club and turning it in. And it allows it to come off a little more like a knuckleball, meaning it's gonna roll a lot faster and harder. But it's got a little more room for error. I don't know if it's the most accurate way to hit a chip shot, but once again, it gives you some variation. We also see golfers that can hit chip shots with the hands forward and the club face will be slightly open. And that might allow the ball to check a little bit more. Blade being open, hands forward, hitting down and through may help you to either get a little more loft or even a little more check on the golf ball. Might be a little unique to the individual there, but something to think about as well. So let's go ahead and hit one where, same line, I'm gonna turn this blade in and kind of lift it on the toe. And hands are still in front, playing it off my back foot here. But let's see how this ball comes off. All right, so it came off a lot lower and it ran out a lot further, okay? I was a little conservative with that. Sometimes when you hit this shot, from my experiences, you know, it really shoots off the club face, okay? So I'm gonna hit one more. Same thing, back on the back stance, turn that blade in, a little more on the toe. I clipped that one a little better there. And that one rolled out a little further. Similar distance to the first shot we hit with our regular chip shot, okay? So now, let's switch out. And I have a 7-iron, similar to that hooded, turned in sand wedge. We expect this to come off lower. We have less loft on the face. And I'm gonna expect it to roll out more, so we're gonna have it land a little closer to where we are here, and expect it to roll out a little bit more. So same thing, weights in the front, hands are forward, smaller stroke because I don't need the same power that I need with that sand wedge. And that came off real low and rolled out quite a bit, but comparable to the other two options, okay? Let's go ahead and hit one more with that. Adjusting a little bit to this club. So same thing, stance open, weights in the front. We know how it's gonna come off low. Keep that head down. And a similar result, not too bad. That one got close to pin high, closest one yet. Now, another thing I like to do and recommend, once again, another easy to hit shot under pressure. We will not blade or flub an attempt of hitting a chip shot with our hybrid. We got a lot of club face there. We're gonna hit this more like a putt, but same thing. We're expecting this ball to roll out the majority of the way. Taking a putting stance, I'm gonna aim left of the hole a little bit here. And we're gonna gauge the distance and how much it rolls out. All right, so that one I kind of flubbed a little bit. But that's kind of why I wanted to show you this. You can miss this shot, but there's a lot of room for error. That's not that bad. It's the worst out of all the shots that we hit, but it still puts me in position to make a putt or have no less than 2 putts, okay? Let's try that one more time. So same thing, we'll take our putter stance. I've seen people do this more like a chipping stance. I just prefer to do it more like a putter. And that one was a little bit better. Hit the pin. Ooh. So that one we definitely got a lot better roll with. But it just shows you that you can get a club face on that ball and get it rolling, and that's pretty much the intent. You have to play with shots like this to understand the distance control, to understand what you do well, and what you might be able to pull off if the pin is a little bit further and you have more green to work with, if the pin is closer and you don't have a lot of green to work with. These can be used in both instances, but you have to see what works for you. Last but not least, for this last golf ball that I have here, this is my father. Shouts out, Pops. The king of the putter. He will use his putter from any fringe, from any distance. We can be 30 yards off the green, he's pulling out his putter. But he's figured out how to control it. Visually, it fits his eye, and he's learned to use that better than he could a sand wedge from that same distance. So with the putter, you know, my biggest thing is getting it started and getting it through that taller grass, because we know it's going to be harder to get a traditional roll or a true roll from that position. So you definitely want to put some power into that start. So let's go ahead and hit one here. You have an idea of the line from all the other ones that we hit. And you can see it kind of bumped a little bit, but not bad. Left us with about 3 feet and an opportunity to get up and down from here. So when we're off the green, when we're hitting a shot from 30, 40, 50 yards off the green, use your imagination. Think more British Open than US Open in regards to the creativity and the fact that there are 1,000 different ways to get the golf ball up to the green, okay? A lot of times you don't even need a golf club to kind of experiment with this stuff. If you stand in one spot and just practice throwing something high, throwing it medium, throwing it low, having it land closer, having it land further, and then try to emulate that with one of the clubs in your bag, that's a great way to work on building a repertoire around the green. All right, so continue to work. I know it's getting cold and we're starting to get into fall, especially here in Michigan, but continue to work on your game. Even when you can't get outside, there's things that we can do inside, and we'll be talking about that as we get into the fall and into the winter, okay? So just a little help with Andre Pillow and DNA Golf Instruction. Thanks for watching.